And the song that put them on the map that also went to number 6 on the Billboard. You can also catch it off their Best Of CD. This is Shahin and Sepehr, 1001 Nights, MAC Global.
Welcome to Live with Suzi. I'm your host and producer of the show, Suzi Khatami. I'm so thrilled and excited to invite our guest to the show today, a very special one. Actually, Sepehr Haddad is the grandson of composer Nasrullah Sultan Minbashian, who was the director of the Iranian Conservatory, Tehran Conservatory of Music, very well known. Sepehr is also a Universal Music Group, UMG recording artist, with the Billboard chart-topping duo Shahin and Sepehr. Our guest, Sepehr Haddad, is on the phone with us. He lives in Washington, D.C. metro area, and I'm excited to start our interview because of his book, because of his talents, and being a musician, and being a great human being. You will find out shortly why I'm talking like this. By the way, this interview is going to be mostly in English, with an exception of a few words in Persian, because we're obviously both Iranian and we both can speak Farsi. خیلی خوش آمدی به برنامه سپهر جان. Wonderful to have you in our show.
Thank you so much. خیلی ممنون. I'd like to say a few words in Farsi just because it is Persian New Year, and I would like to wish all your listeners in Farsi a happy Persian New Year. شنوندگان عزیز، اولا از سوزی خیلی من متشکرم که منو به برنامهشون دعوت کردن و خیلی متشکرم واقعا و خواستم عید سعید نوروز به تمام ایرانیایی که و تمام کسای دیگه‌ای که عید نوروز رو جشن میگیرن تبریک بگم از طرف خودم و از طرف شاهین و تمام خانواده هامون.
بسیار قشنگ واقعا. my hats off to you دوستان. برای اون عده‌ای که زیاد شاید سپهر جان رو نشناسین، سپهر متولد آمریکا هست، چند سال اینجا بوده، بعد میره ایران هم به مدرسه‌ای رفته که همه درساشون به زبان انگلیسی بوده، ایرانزمین که خیلیاتون میشناسین، خیلی از دوستان من اون مدرسه رفتن اینکلودینگ سپهر عزیز. بنابراین ولی با این حال میبینید که ماشاءالله چقدر به زبان فارسی هم مسلط هست، ولی دلیلی که ما امروز به انگلیسی داریم برنامه رو اجرا میکنیم به خاطر که رو وبسایت میره و بتونه بیشتر افرادی رو که برنامه‌ها رو دنبال میکنن بتونن اونها هم متوجه شو و مصاحبه بشن. So we do switch to English. Without further ado, I'm going to start. First of all, congratulations on your book, Sepehr. And
thank you very much.
Absolutely. Tell our viewers and listenerships what happened that you started writing this novel, which is obviously based on a true story, all from your lovely grandma. What happened?
Yes.
What made you write?
Well, in 1978, in the summer of 1978, it was the last year that I was able to go back to Iran for summer vacation. I was studying in California at the university. And when I was there, the martial law happened, where the military government was put in place. Mm-hmm. And that was something very new for us at that time. I was, at that age, I had not seen anything like this. So it was very interesting to live in that time when you saw tanks in the streets and the military were backing up the traffic cops with guns and machine guns, and they were breaking up collaboration of any 2 or 3 people walking together. So it was very interesting, and I was looking out the window and seeing all this happen, mm-hmm. and some events happened that I don't want to say now because it will give it away, spoiler in the book. But basically, I talked to my grandmother, and when the television show was talking about all the disturbances outside, they talked about, that Khomeini and all that, and I had never heard his name. And so I told my grandmother, I said, it's surprising. I've never heard his name. Who is he? And she explained who he was. And then I said, it's very surprising because we went to the Iranzamin, as you mentioned, the Tehran International School. And there we had reading material that was, you wouldn't even find on the streets. You know, we were studying these in our history classes and so forth. And so I was shocked to not know about Khomeini. And my grandmother said, it's not surprising you didn't know. There's a lot of things you don't know. I said, like what? And she said, like your grandfather. He fell in love with a Russian princess. And I was totally dumbfounded. I was shocked. I said, what? I'd never heard that either. And I thought, oh, how many things are there that I don't know? And so she tried to tell me the story, but then the Jaleh Square event occurred where there was a big, sort of a demonstration. And then, unfortunately, many people were killed in the melee. And she never got to finish the story until a few weeks later, as I was going to go say goodbye to her before I was going to go back to California. And I never knew that that was the last time I would see her. She told me the story over lunch of how my grandfather went to Russia to study at the conservatory in St. Petersburg. And by certain events happen that I don't want to give away again. But basically, he becomes the tutor to the Tsar's niece. And then they fall in love. And so she told me the story in 1978, and I was like, well, a great story. And everybody would tell me, this is a really good story. A lot of people said, we don't even believe it when I would tell it to them. And so my wife told me, why don't you write this story? And, you know, it was one of those things that, yes, like a good wife. Behind every, I don't want to say great man, but behind every good man, there's a great woman. So
let's give her the credit that it's absolutely due.
Yes, really, I should. Sure. And so then we went to Iran on a trip, and during that trip, we passed by my grandmother's apartment, the same apartment that I was in when she told me that story. And it brought back all of a sudden, of course, the nostalgia and all those emotions. And then I told her, okay, you know what? I think I want to write this story. And so that was, of course, another 10 years ago. And so for the past...
The rest is history due to our...
It's history, yes. It took 6 years. 6 years to write it, but finally.
I want people to read your book, and of course they can check out on Amazon and all the places that people can go online and find 100 Sweet Promises, which is the name of your book. This is the first book you wrote, which again is a novel based on a true story, like Sepehr just kindly told us about it. This book, I might add, we just found out that became number 3 in recent Russian historical fiction. Many congrats to you. I'm happy to hear that, and I wish you more and more success here within United States and Europe and everywhere else in the world, and also Iran, because obviously the story is about Iran and the history and what had happened. So we do encourage people to check this book out. You can also check out Sepehr's website, which is Sepehr Haddad with .com. Make sure to check out his website. All the info is on that website. And also you're having an interview, a kind of a conversation and a talk on a Zoom this coming Sunday, April 6th, or actually not a Sunday. Sunday, the show is going to be aired, our show. But April 6th, you're going to be talking to Persia Education Foundation?
Yes, well, I will. And it's going to be our first webinar, and Shahin and I will be both on that, talking about our music and our plans for our next albums, and also talking about the release of this book and, the history behind it.
I'm so, so happy for both of you. We miss Shahin, of course. Hopefully with another show we will talk about your music more so. This time I wanted to concentrate on your, obviously, new publication and your book, which is our main focus today. But I'm sure in the future I will have another opportunity to talk to you both about your music. In the past, of course, it's been on the Billboard charts and did very well, and your upcoming music in the future.
Well, thank you so much. I also wanted to just say that during writing this book has made me reconnect with the Persian community here, and it is so refreshing to see how everyone supports each other. This was not my recollection, say, 20 years ago. But now, all of a sudden, it's amazing how there is this camaraderie, and everybody is trying to bring each other up. For example, there's a beautiful quarterly here, which is Redux Extra magazine, and they graciously did a feature on us, on the book and on our music, and I just wanted to say it's very refreshing to see the support that the Iranian community is having for Iranian artists, Iranian performers, and
because you are a deserving artist, Sepehr. Don't forget that you are a deserving artist, world of knowledge in what you do, and of course, people do appreciate that. I sure do, and I'm sure my colleagues do the same in different media outlets. Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you. Wish you all the success, and we'll talk hopefully soon.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All the best.